From the Heat not having much to give up in the trade discussions to the Blazers asking Miami to make their best offer for their legend, here's why Damian Lillard's trade demand will not happen. At least not to Miami, because they ain't got enough to tempt Portland into selling their best player. Love isn't always enough, and the saying rings true in basketball as well. After staying loyal to Rip City for the majority of his career, Dame finally decided to challenge for a championship. And knowing he wouldn't be given a proper supporting cast in Portland, he demanded a trade. Having seen the Heat dominate the East and beat some of the best teams on their way to the NBA Finals in the 2023 playoffs, Lillard started flirting with Miami, hoping the franchise would make a blockbuster offer to rescue him from the Trailblazers. Unfortunately for Lillard, the trade saga's taken a turn for the worst, with the Heat priced out of a move for the all-star point guard. This doesn't mean the Heat won't keep pursuing this deal until the 24 trade deadline, but it's not looking likely, because Miami ain't got enough resources to convince the Blazers. I'll get into the details, but if Portland don't receive a package worthy of giving up Damian, then I don't see Lillard ending up on South Beach for the 2023-24 season. To make matters worse, the Trailblazers are actually open to letting Dame walk, and with Lillard handing in a trade request, all the eyes are on Heat's front office to stump up a package that Portland will accept. That said, when you don't have the sufficient assets to give up, then there's not much that you can do. Before the Dame rumors emerged in the 23 offseason, the upper management in Miami was confident a package built around Tyler Herro would be enough to get a tantrum throwing Lillard out of Rip City. But their hopes were dealt a huge blow when Portland made it clear they wanted nothing to do with Herro. There's little surprise in this development. Don't get me wrong, I think Herro gets disrespected a lot on NBA Twitter and social media in general. He's a clever little player with a high ceiling, but doesn't bring anything different of note to Portland, which they already don't have. He improved his shooting considerably in the last 2 years and has been consistently averaging over 20 from 2021 to 2023. Averaging close to 40% from beyond the arc's very special. But the Trailblazers don't need a player like Herro. They've already got that profile in abundance. Even as a forward, I don't see him being a better option than Shaedon Sharpe. So the Blazers are very much entitled to ask what they want from Miami. Think about it. Dame's been the greatest ever Blazer in Portland's history. There's no doubt over this claim. Why would they let him go without getting the best possible package in return? It's well within their rights to make the demands, and Joe Cronin's played his cards really well so far. In situations similar to this one, franchises usually bend over and give in to the demands. The Blazers could have done the same. They've got a packed backcourt and don't necessarily need a like-to-like replacement for Lillard. I mean, think about it. They've got some real youngsters ready to take up the mantle from Dame. But Portland's got some other holes to fill in their roster. They could do with a talented big and some defensive options, or a dynamic forward. Building a team around Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simmons, and Sharpe's a very good idea, and it doesn't look likely that the Heat have any talent to give up, which improves the Blazers in the short term or the long run. There's another way out for Miami, which is to give up a host of first-round picks, because rebuilding teams are very much interested in that draft capital. The Blazers would love to get their hands on something similar to what the Jazz pocketed for Rudy Gobert, but I honestly doubt the Heat have enough first-round picks and swaps to give up either. This complicates things a whole lot more, and the chances of Damian getting out of Portland keep getting thinner and thinner. I do feel bad for him, and so do plenty of fans, which is why the general consensus online is that the Blazers are doing Lillard very dirty, especially after all he's given to the franchise. Most of them gave the example of how Bradley Beal was allowed to leave Washington for Phoenix, and the trade package wasn't worthy of his quality. I don't think those two situations are comparable. The Wizards made a huge blunder signing that no-trade clause, which allowed Beal to pick his next destination despite being contracted with the Wizards. Dame's a bigger legend for Portland, and he's contributed significantly to the Blazers in the last few years. But the franchise wasn't to add a no-trade clause in the contract he signed, and so the franchise holds all the cards, and Lillard needs the Heat to give up whatever Portland's asking for. If that doesn't happen, he'll end up staying in Portland for the near future, and that should be the end of his hopes of winning a championship. Could it be that Damian remains a Portland player for the rest of his career even after submitting a trade request? He won't be the first player. After all, Kobe's still remembered as the best Laker to play for the franchise. Either way, fans on social media are forcing Portland to take whatever Miami has to offer, because that's the only way to repay the trust Dame put in for the franchise. I don't agree with this take. It's a business, after all, and why would the Trailblazers willingly get weaker just so Dame gets the move he deserves? To me, his only hope could be some other franchise coming in and giving the Blazers what they're after. The Oklahoma City Thunder were rumored to be in discussions for the superstar PG, but those links have gone cold. I'm not sure if Dame even wanted to move to OKC, but isn't anything better than Portland's rebuild? The Thunder have some of the best talent in the world. They've got a lot of draft capital to give up as well, and the Blazers would be more than happy to accept some of it for Lillard. With an almost ready roster, and Chet Holmgren ready to make his long-awaited debut in the 2023-24 campaign, the Thunder could actually be the dark horses in the West, especially if they add Dame time to their backcourt. I like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey in their backcourt, but they can still field an impressive team with Giddey as a forward, and SGA accompanying Lillard in the backcourt without needing to go small. Similar to the Thunder, the Raptors have also shown a little bit of interest in the Portland legend, another franchise that could afford a move for him. Unlike the Thunder and the Heat, the Raptors have plenty of stars to give up in the trade. OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam both have been linked with moves away from Toronto, and they've got plenty of other names to give up as well. OG would be the perfect defensive addition to their roster, and Siakam fixes the team's center needs, as well as being a crucial addition to their front court. From Dame's perspective, this would be a move, because what's the point of swapping one rebuild for another? Fortunately, the Blazers have asked Miami to make their biggest offer as per the most recent reports. A move to Miami might be unlikely at this stage, but it's still Lillard's best hope of getting out of Portland and winning a ring in his career. He could kick up a fuss too, but it doesn't look like the Blazers will give in. The Heat have been advised to seek a third team to add to the trade discussions, with the Blazers also forcing Miami to send Hero elsewhere as part of the trade. Cronin's told the Rip City faithful he'll be patient when making a decision about Lillard, and something tells me we're not close to resolving this saga. Portland's after either Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo, but there's no chance the Heat give one of their premium stars up, and I think it defeats the purpose for Dame too. A third team remains the best option, but who would it be? Again, the Raptors have been approached by Portland and Miami, but Kyle Lowry, Caleb Martin, and Gary Trent Jr., along with Nikola Jokic, isn't a better package than the one on the table already. At the end of the day, Dame's hopes of winning a ring rely solely on Andy Ellisberg, Heat's GM, and his ability to find the right deal. So from the Blazers asking Miami to make their best offer for their legend, to the Heat not having much to give up in the trade discussions, that was why Damian Lillard's trade demand will not happen.